Hello world! Do you want to play a game that simulates all the stress of making difficult choices while you're relaxing at home, not stressing out about the stress of making difficult choices? If so, then here's the second video in my Corporate CEO game playlist where we're building a game with Python's Pygame library. First, welcome to the 120th video on my channel where I'm building my own digital assistant named Shane, like Jarvis from the Iron Man movies and comics. In the first video of this playlist, we made the start screen of what my corporate CEO game, which will be a corporate CEO simulation where I'm going to use real world data of the local economy, and I live in Shreveport, Bossier City, Louisiana, and then real stock data to influence the game, and it'll be a simulation game. So you can watch that video by clicking on the card here. So let's check out my progress so far. So this is the start menu we created in the first video, and I replaced the stock data with the date and time. So today is Saturday, January 2nd, 2021. That is accurate. And like a good CEO, you are working on a Saturday. And so we can click this start the game. And as I showed in the first video, this, when you hover over it, it turns into a lighter gray. So now we're in this menu right here, like a normal game. You can choose to do a new CEO or load a CEO. So basically new game, load a game. And in this video, we'll cover the new CEO for now. But I do have it programmed where if you click the Load CEO button, it shows Load CEO button clicked. So in next video, we will be using the save data that we get from this new CEO menu and then loading that. But for now, it just says the button is clicked. So it uses the same hover over code that we used in the previous one with a large font of new CEO. And now we're on the choose your career / new game. So first we have this text box here, and right now it has a place for you to type in, and when you click on it, both the font and the box turn white. So now we can type in our name. So Brandon Jacobson. And right now we haven't put in a path to save this yet. That will be in the next video. But once you type in your first and last, it could be something cool like Voltron, and the game will continue with that. So hi, Mr. Voltron. Could be Power Rangers, whatever you want. And so when you click off of it, you can no longer type. When you click back in it, not only can you type, but you can press the backspace. And we'll go through the code on that. So next is to choose your career. And so right now, none of them are highlighted, right? I'm clicking anywhere. I can no longer type my name. So let's say we want to be an investment company CEO. Now these are real world locations in Shreveport, Louisiana. This is the Regions Bank Tower, the largest skyscraper in Shreveport. This is the Petroleum Tower, another corporate building. And this is the Baird Tower. And this is where indeed investment company people work. This is indeed where gas and oil people work. And this is indeed where multiple real estate companies work. So let's say we want to check this. Notice how the text also goes white. And then there's a white border evenly spaced around. So, or we want gas and oil. Same thing. White box, white text. Real estate, white box, white text. Notice that you can only click one. See? And then that's it. So in the next video, we'll cover how to save that data And then we're going to go over how to load that data on the next screen. Okay, so let's go through the code now. So no new imports except maybe the date time import date, but that's part of the standard library. So really just Pygame. No change here, no change to the clock. The width, the height, the screen, and the caption are all the same. Fonts are the same, except we did add a white and a black. So this, I believe, is red, green, black. Or I'm sorry, red, green, blue. So 255 is the max. So 255, 255 is white. 000 is black. We loaded the images. This actually needs to be put down one, right? You want to, if I'm switching screens, then I don't want to keep, this loads the data once. And the reason why is because the start menu will always be loaded. So that's why I put that here. We made some changes to the create button because the create button function we created in the first one only was good for that one time. So now we need a function that can be used over and over. So we took out the message, but we still have the X, Y with height, and then the color you want to be hovered over, and then a default color. So we always want the mouse to get the position because you're going to use that for your mouse. And then my game only uses the left click. And then I went over the code in the previous one. So just by calling this function, it will draw your box for you. But we did take out the text part. That's the only change. No changes to the start menu except for adding this. So the date equals today.date.today. And then we use the string format time to get today is the day, comma, the month, comma, the day, and the year. So big A is the full month. Big B, I'm sorry, the full weekday, Sunday. Big B is the full month. Little d, of course, is the little 2 digits. So today is 02. And then capital Y is the full 2021. And then we render that font. And then everything else is the same. Now this is new, the game menu. So we're going to have the start text. And that repeats every time in every screen. Then we created this new CEO text. Then we're going to render the font. So this font.render, remember from the first video, is the large 30 font. A smaller font called small font is 14. So I'm using the normal font, which is 30, size 30, .render. You pass in your text, you pass in true, and then the gray. I'm sorry, the color you want. So we created a slate gray, the blackish grays. So the blackish I have because it fits into the border or the color of the buttons that we create. So then we're going to create a new CEO button by using the function I just talked about. So we pass it the width, the height, the left, the top, the color you want it to be when you click it, and the default color. And then if new CEO button, so in Python you don't have to put if new CEO button is true, you can just put if new CEO button. And when we go back to our function, it returns true. So if somebody clicks the 0th index, or if the 0 index of your click, that's your mouse button, so the left click, the wheel click is index 1 or the second item, and then index 2 is the right click. But for some reason, it gives a 1, 2, 3 count. So I don't know, pretty silly. But your index 1 is the same as 1. So if you press the left click, it's going to return true. And that's what we're doing here. Sorry. This new CEO button. So if it's clicked with the left button, we will go to the new game menu. So since there's no else, nothing will happen. So then we put the new CEO text, right? So for this one, you just need the width and the height. So what this does is first we divide the screen width by 2. Then we divide the CEO text using the getWidth method by 2. And then we minus it, right? The width of the text by the half of the width. If I did not have the second part, what you're actually doing is the start of the left will be the halfway point. So let me show you what that, because I'm going to use that throughout, so it's important that you get that. So if we did not get the width of this, divide it by 2 and then minus from it, this new CEO text would actually start right here. If you just did screen width divided by 2, then your new CEO would start right in the middle. So what you need to do is get the width of this text and minus it. Minus, when you subtract it, it goes to the left. If you add to it, it goes to the right. And we're going to see this a lot. The screen height, I put it at approximately 33% of the screen height. And that's using the screen.blit. So we're passing this new CEO text, which is right here, new CEO. And then we're putting it halfway, right? We're centering it on the screen by centering it on the text. Then we're taking the screen height about 33%. Then we're calling in the load CEO button, just like we did here. But now we're doing the screen width minus 100. The screen height divided by 2. And then we want the, what's it called? This, what's it called? This 200 and 500. When you pass it the left and right, you don't have to do the math. You don't have to get the width of it. You already know because you are establishing the width here, right? Left top width height is 200. So all you have to do is take the screen width divided by 2 and then minus 100. That's what we did with the new CEO button as well. If I did not have this, I would have to do the subtract of the getWidth method. So if the load CEO button is true, and we haven't created the load game function yet, then it said load CEO button clicked. Alright? And then we draw the text on top of it because the text doesn't change. Only the button does. Right? So let me start this game. So the text stays that blackish color. Only the thing changes. Bow, bow, bow. And then it has the loop. And you'll see the loop in every time. So when we start the function, when we start this whole game, we're actually in this game loop right here. This is how we start the game. While true, start menu. So it goes straight into the start menu, which we covered in the first video. Right? Start menu. And then when we click this start button, like I showed in the first video, we go to the game menu, which is where we're at now. When you click on the new CEO button, you go to the new game menu. So that's this game loop. Then we're in today's video, which is the new game. So again, this start text is the same. Then we declare the new username as an empty string, right? So this is empty right now. The name is not being used. So you'll have to do, so what we're going to do is if the name is active, the regions is active, the regions tower, that's the picture and the text. This is if the Petro tower is active and if the bear tower is active, right? So we're going to default them to false when we declare them. And that makes them gray, right? They're going to be inactive as the default position. Then we're going to load this career choice that says choose your career. Then we're going to load in the images of the regions tower, the Petro tower, and the bear tower. And I made them all 300 by 300, or 250 by 250. That's just a style choice. You're going to have to play around your own thing. Now we're in the game loop, and as you can see, there's a lot more in this game loop. So while true, we're going to do the start text. Like this is the same code in every screen. The start text is here, the corporate CEO. Now remember, when you're in this, Python programming is, remember your order of operations. So I got confused a lot because things weren't happening what I want, and the reason why is because something up here is going to get loaded before something down here in the while loop. So just keep that in mind if you're trying to change my code. Then we're going to create a surface, and the surface allows you to write text on there. So we're, at the start of it, it's going to be white, and it's going to be the username, which is currently blank. Right? So we're going to render that surface. Then we're going to create a border around that. So to create a border, we're going to use the pygame.rect. Then we're going to pass it the screen width of the username surface, which is right here. And we're going to get the width of it. So right now it's an empty text, and we're going to divide that by 2, which is nothing. So right now we're just taking the screen width divided by 2, and then we minus 10. And the reason why we minus 10 is to give it some space. So here is the space right here. That is the minus 10. And when I type in my name, notice how B is not sandwiched against it. That is this minus 10. Then we take the screen height times 20%, or 0.20. And then we get the width again and add 10. So that is to get the, this is the left of it. Now this is the width. And then this is the height. So about 50 pixels. So then we're going to draw as the person types on it, and you'll see that in the event loop. Then it's going to draw this using the username surface, and we're going to be updating this. So right now it's blank, right? It's going to draw this. This is just a text blit, and we're going to pass it the left and top. So username surface is blank right now. So right now it's in this rectangle. Then we're going to create the borders around the career pictures. So we're just creating them. We're not drawing them. So here I put it about 0.075% of the, so 7.5% of the screen minus 4. And the reason why is because I want the border to be offset from the picture. The screen height is about 45%, or 0.45 of the height minus 4. That way on the top of it, the border, plus 8, and the reason why I'll show you is because the border is actually 2. So it has a pixel size of 2. So you need to cover the 2 pixels here, the 2 pixels here. So 4 plus 2 plus 2 equals 8. Alright, then we're going to do one around the petrol border and the beard border. So now that we have declared these rectangles when we need them. Now we're in the event loop, and in the previous screens, now we have multiple mouse button downs. So if somebody clicks on the username border, which is this collide point, we're going to get the position, and we're going to declare name active is true, because it's currently false. Else, if I click the regions border dot collide point, then the regions will be active. Same with the petrol border. So this collide point is looking for your mouse button to collide on it, which basically means I've clicked in it. So else, right? So if I haven't clicked on anything, everything is false. Now I kind of the else I could just put pass because everything is already false. But this is to remind me. So that's what happens if I click the mouse button. I'm basically making whatever I click on true. If the name is active, so if I have pressed down on the username border and I type, which is key down, any key, then it's going to add. So username, new username plus equals event.unicode. Event.unicode means store that key. So if I type in capital B, it's going to add B to the username. If I press the key underscore backspace, then it's going to subtract 1, which is what this code is. You could press a 0 here, but you don't have to do that in Python. And so what it's doing is it's subtracting the last thing you typed in. So that's how you do backspace handling. So if I click off the name active, it'll be false, and the user can't type their name in anymore. Now, if the name active, basically if it's true, so if I click on it, the rectangle will be white, and the user prompt, enter your first and last name, will also be white. Else, meaning I click somewhere else or I haven't clicked at all, then it'll be slate gray. Okay? If I click on the regions active, it'll make this true. So if regions active is true, then we will render the investment company words into white. We'll draw the border with a white, and then everything else will be false. The other two pictures will be false to make sure you can't select all three and confuse the save game data. Else, it'll be slate gray, and I don't want any border, so it'll be black, right? So that's different than up here where it's slate gray. If I click on the petro, white and white, everything else will be false, the other two. Else, it'll be slate gray and black. If I click on the bear tower, it'll be true. The others will be false. This will be white. Else, slate gray and black. Then, after all of that logic is done, so we've declared everything, right? Then we're going to draw everything, and this is where the order takes precedent. So then we're going to draw the username prompt. We're going to draw the career choice prompt, which says select your career. That's what .blit is. Then we're going to draw the regions tower. Display the regions tower, which is the pick. Then the word investment company, which we did everything we did was we declared up here. Now we're just actually putting it onto our screen. Excuse me. You can see the map that I did up here. I'm not going to go through each one. Then we're going to draw the petro tower and the word gas and oil, and the bear tower and the words real estate. Then we end our loop. So the next part, in the next video, I'm going to add the part where you can save this information. Then it'll take you to the next screen. And we'll also use the load data, and when you load this data, it will take you to the next screen. So now we won't be divergent between new and load, and now we'll go into one screen where we either created a new game or loaded a game. So that is a lot. Let's just go through the code one more time. Here's the start menu, the date time that we went through, the start the game hover, load CEO button clicked, new CEO button clicked. Now we're in this new game. Both of those turn white and I can type, right? If I click off, everything but the text turns white because this is what I'm going to save. Let's say we want to be an investment company. There you go. That turns white. If I click on that, that turns white. Click off, it goes back to gas and oil. And the border is actually still here. It's just black. Real estate, that's black. And there you go. So I hope you enjoyed this video. The GitHub link will be in the description, and it will be updated from the previous video. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to watch me build my own digital assistant or continue building this game. And thanks for watching. Goodbye, world.